You're watching WFXB. We're here at HTC. Today we're talking about the YMCA. It's coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at HTC's Carolina Forest Branch location. We're focused on the Coastal Carolina YMCA, and we're visiting with its Chief Executive Officer, John Rhoden. Good morning, John. Thanks for coming in. New on the job.
Brand new, brand new.
Brand new. What's that like? Just 2 weeks now.
It's a lot of meetings, so walked into a lot going on, and it's a great time to be here.
And the YMCA is not totally new to you. You've obviously been with the organization a little while.
I have. I've been at the Somerville YMCA, which is just outside of Charleston. I've been there for 7 years.
Is that right?
That's right.
7 years? Wow. Had you held a similar role down there?
I was CEO there for 5 years, and before that I ran the sports, a youth and adult sports program for Somerville.
The YMCA is expanding a lot here on the Strand.
And statewide too. I mean, there's a lot of branches across the state that are really getting to, you know, with the emphasis nowadays on adult and youth obesity, preventing that. You know, so there's a lot of folks trying to get their kids out more active, and that's where we step in.
Obesity is really an issue to be concerned about?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's widespread. They're using epidemic terms for it.
Really?
Yeah, it's really something else. Kids spend a lot more time inside and less time outside, and for different reasons.
Right.
And so we try and step in, and whether it's organized sports or just using our facilities, playing basketball, or just being more active. You know, we kind of step in with our programs and our facilities and try and help out with that.
Are the programs that, for instance, would be down in Somerville identical or almost identical, or very similar, or are they more advanced down there? I mean, what are some of the things
it really is community specific.
Really?
It really is. And there's 3,000 YMCAs across the country, and the saying is once you've seen one, you've seen one, because they're all so different. In Somerville, we had a real strong youth sports program, but we did not have a basketball gym, so we didn't run any basketball. The churches in town did that. Here in Myrtle Beach, the same kind of thing. We've got a real strong soccer program, but not a whole lot going on with some of the other fitness activities. We do have a basketball gym, and there's some basketball leagues, but it just really depends. You've got some places that are real strong on aquatics. Newberry, South Carolina, Rock Hill, a lot of folks that they focus their activities and their facilities around a certain program such as aquatics, and we're hoping to get to there, but we're not there yet. So
how exciting!
It is.
John.
It's very exciting.
And I loved hearing you say that. If you've been to one, you've been to one.
Been to one. That's right.
That's a great.
If you look at just the local area, it's the same way. You know, we've got a new branch we're going to be building in Georgetown, further down the coast of Charleston and Moncks Corner and Somerville. They're all within a couple hours of each other, and nothing even close to each other. I mean, as far as the programs and facilities, it's totally community dependent.
We filmed at the YMCA in Florence 3 or 4 years ago. An amazing facility and a tremendous basketball presence there. They really turn on the juice there.
They do.
They've done some great activities over the years, and probably it seems like there was a fundraising going on there around the same time we were there a few years ago. Y'all of course have been in the midst of a big building campaign.
That's right. And that's the same kind of thing also. That's also community dependent, because some communities, there's arrangements with the school district or the local government, something like that, to build new facilities. And we're getting that kind of support here. But typically, a YMCA has to go out and raise money to build a new facility. We have to raise money every year to pay our light bills and whatnot. What we'll charge for our fees for our classes and our programs usually won't cover the entire operation. So we've got to get that additional money somewhere, whether it's grants or giving from the community.
And there's lots of different ways to get them. I mean,
Absolutely.
as you say, grants are a great thing. So in some locations, in some communities, the school system would work with the Y.
Oh, sure, and they do help us out a lot in Georgetown, too, for instance. I mean, we've got our offices. There's not a building right now in Georgetown. Our administrative offices are actually in a school district office that they lease to us very, very cheap. And we've got 3 offices in there. And so there's a lot of different arrangements you can have across the state. In Rock Hill, I think it is, they've got a arrangement with the school district where every third grader will learn how to swim.
Is that
the school
right?
district
Great.
will bus them over, and the Y provides the guards in the facility.
All third graders.
All third graders.
That's
And
tremendous.
that's something we would love to do here, and we need our own pool to do that. So
Yeah.
that's where we're going with this new
And
facility.
y'all are really doing some tremendous opportunities in laying that out. I've seen the beautiful models.
Right.
Folks have been coming on the show over the last few years, really highlighting the kickoff of the campaign
Right.
when your predecessor, Brian Cormier, was around helping to make that happen. And,
right.
of course, the tremendous board, the group that y'all have put together to help raise those funds.
Very motivated, very enthusiastic board, which is something
Yes.
you've got to have to make it successful, and it's there. You know, I didn't have to build it; it was already here.
No,
So
that's right.
That's been great.
Did you grow up in this area, John?
I did not. I was born in Charleston, but my dad was in the military. He's in the Air Force, and then I was in the Air Force as soon as I graduated
Is that
high
right?
school.
Good.
So been bounced around a lot: Florida, South Carolina, and Europe, and Texas mainly. But,
Had you always thought about going into the military or going into the Air Force?
I really had, and I had a great time in it. Was there? I was active duty for 9 years. I was an Air Force meteorologist, weather guy.
An Air Force meteorologist.
That's right.
interesting.
Very interesting. Something different every day. You know.
So the Air Force
weather.
doesn't rely on TV broadcasters to get there.
Not really. They do a lot with the civilian counterparts, but
Sure.
for the most part, every aircraft that takes off has to have a weather briefing from somebody, and that's our primary job. And,
Interesting.
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, but it's a lot of nights and weekends away from home, and I
Right.
deployed quite a bit, and just was ready to stay home a little bit. I think.
Wanted
so.
to get back.
Yeah.
Is your dad still in the military?
No, he's retired. He teaches high school down in Central Florida.
Oh, really?
Lakeland,
Good.
Florida, yeah.
Good. You have brothers and sisters?
I do. I have a brother also in Florida who works on hospital equipment. And my sister works for AFES, which is the military retail system, and she's stationed right now in Germany. So
Is that
She's
right?
over there now. Been there, I think, 10 years. She loves it.
Wow.
Yeah, loves it.
Now that you're living in Myrtle Beach, of course, you're going to have folks coming up here to
That's right.
see y'all.
That's right. And it's the same thing as Somerville. You know, we were pretty close to the beach there, but here, you know, we're right on the beach. So I've already got people calling now, reserving the spare room. So
Right.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Growing up in the military, did you have experiences in the different towns you and your family lived with attending a YMCA?
Actually, no. I kind of backed into this job, so to speak. In the military, you've got on-base organizations that take care of the youth and recreation, MWR. And so I've always been a part of that and lived on base most of my life. And so the first experience I had with the YMCA was actually in Somerville. We lived on in the local economy. You know, it was not on base, and my daughters needed to learn how to swim because there was so much water around, and the only place we could find to do that was the local YMCA.
That's great.
And so they learned to swim at the Y, and so that was really my first experience at all with the YMCA. I mean, I've heard of them and seen them, and been across the country and noticed them, but not really been in one before. So, you know, typically to get to be a leadership in the YMCA, you start off as a camp counselor or you know, some kind of front desk person, and you just work your way up to that eventually. So I kind of fell into it accidentally, and have been here ever since.
That's
Love
fantastic. For 7 years. And now, of course, if a viewer needs to get off to work now or get family off to school, is it the 449 phone number that's the best to use?
Yep, absolutely.
What is that? That's 449-9622. Not to put you on the spot. You've only been here a couple of weeks.
Well, I can always remember the last four. That's YMCA on your phone. So,
very easy.
That's easy.
449-YMCA.
That's right.
Of course, you all also have a website.
We do, and it's gsfymca.org, which is Grand Strand Family YMCA.org, and there will be a link to the Georgetown website also. They have their own individual site too.
Okay, good. Sure. Of course, a lot of folks hear about it. I opened up the Chief Executive Officer for the Coastal Carolina YMCA.
Right.
What's the significance of the Coastal Carolina YMCA?
Well, that's relatively new. We just became a what's called a corporate YMCA. In smaller communities, you'll have an individual branch, which is what the Grand Strand branch used to be, just kind of by itself.
Right.
Georgetown wanted to build a YMCA in that community also, and it's hard to do it alone, so they wanted to kind of join up with Grand Strand branch to become a new YMCA.
Sure,
and
great thinking.
Typically what you do is you form into one corporate entity. You get one administrative department that handles both of those. So
good.
So I oversee both branches, and they do operate independently, but they're all still part of the same corporation.
Are there branches in this side of the waterway, in the Conway area or Loris area currently?
Soon. We've got a lot of big plans, a lot of big support out in Conway. North Myrtle Beach has been calling.
Good.
The Murrells Inlet area we're looking at, and there's a lot of discussions underway, whether it's smaller, they call them express-wise, which is like a storefront, small facility, or another big branch, like maybe in Conway. There's a lot of discussions what's going to happen after we get these other two built first.
Absolutely.
So a lot of support.
Of course, the former Myrtle Beach Air Force Base, I think, has found a way to try to tie in some of their facilities, either on the soccer side or otherwise.
Youth sports especially, absolutely.
That's great. That's great. What are some of the, if a viewer hadn't visited the YMCA, and I think it's up on, what's it, 67th?
62nd, yes.
62nd Avenue, if they hadn't been there in the recent past, what are some of the facilities currently in place at the Grand Strand family? Why, maybe you could talk a little bit about the Georgetown branch as well.
Sure. We're real excited about the Grand Strand branch. They've got a bunch of new equipment that we just bought.
Great.
Cardio stuff. We've got new treadmills, new elliptical trainers, some new bikes, and some new resistance machines to get a full body workout.
Good.
The building we're leasing is full locker rooms. It's got a gymnasium and that kind of thing. So, and two rooms for group exercise, aerobics, cardio, that kind of thing.
Right.
So that's what we've got now. In Georgetown, which is just a program site right now, we've got some after-school sites that we run, but we do not have a facility yet.
Okay.
We borrow some space out of some schools and some churches, but that's kind of why we're building a building that area also. The new building in Myrtle Beach will be kind of across the street.
Very close.
Yeah,
Share with viewers what the YMCA is planning for folks who may not have seen Brian or Penny or others.
Sure, and you'll see more very soon. But building about a 30,000 square foot branch in Myrtle Beach, right across 17 from the existing spot, and it's going to have a gymnasium, indoor pool, and the indoor pool is going to be kind of neat because it's going to have your typical lanes for lap swimming. But we've also got a section set aside for lessons and group aerobics, water aerobics, which is great for seniors.
Great.
Those with limited mobility, you can exercise your joints without a lot of impact. So that's real popular nationwide right now. So we'll have that part of it. But it's going to have a nice big workout room with the free weights and the cardio all in one room, all put together, and also some multi-purpose rooms for the youth and for the kids and tweens and that kind of thing. So that's what's going to be at the Grand Strand branch. And in the Georgetown branch, pretty much the same thing. We're still not sure about the gymnasium itself. We're kind of in the middle of seeing what we can afford.
Sure, haven't nailed that down. You want to see where the dollars come in.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
So, of course, the location there, it is virtually the intersection of 20, or the break off from, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble saying that, the 48th Avenue break off of
right in that area.
31. That's right up near.
Pretty close to that.
Where it meets 17 bypass.
There's going to be a new intersection right there, is what I understand.
Oh, good. Okay,
yeah, so
sure.
It'll be easy to get in and out.
Yeah, with you being new to the area and me, of course, not being able to say what I want to say, it's in a great location.
We'll draw a map.
That's right. That's right. It is, and of course, when you think about the experiences there in Somerville, and obviously the expansion, even seeing that facility and being involved in the way you were active, were there some aspects down in Somerville that you want to make sure to try to find a way to incorporate here on the Grand Strand?
Absolutely. It was a very similar situation in Somerville. We've been a program YMCA, which is kind of like what Georgetown is right now.
Right.
We would charge fees for youth or adults to play sports and after-school care and that type of thing. And that went well during soccer season, but in between seasons it was real tough financially for us to keep our head above water. So in the late 90s, the board of directors in Somerville got together and said, let's build a facility so we'll have membership revenue coming in. And it's a nice flat revenue stream, and you can exist a little more strongly that way. So we're going to do the same thing here. And what happened in Somerville was the community really embraced the YMCA. They joined. Our membership is through the roof up there.
Great.
So we want the same thing to happen here, because with your membership supporting your other programs, you're not in such a bind financially as you can be. And we're not here, but it's going to be a lot easier to improve facilities and your programs when financially you've got support behind you. So.
Sure. So you all have, of course, essentially an annual campaign that goes on every year, and then a building campaign here.
That's right.
For both of the facilities, and then we'll have another campaign after you wrap up and build the facilities. And the grandstand in Georgetown to be able to expand here as well.
Right. We do an annual support campaign every year, which helps us, keep running.
Sure.
Because again, we don't charge enough for the programs to cover all the expenses, and most Ys don't. And that's going to go on every year, and will continue to go on every year, and has been for a number of years. And what we do when we want to expand or build a new facility is we have a capital campaign. We call it a building campaign to raise money for a new building. And that's typically a short campaign, a year, maybe 2 years. You raise a bunch of money, you build a building, and off you go. And when it's time to add more or do something additional 5 or 6, 7 years down the road, then we'll have another capital campaign. It's just kind of short-lived, very compact kind of campaign instead of an ongoing every single year kind of thing.
John, for viewers who may not be totally familiar with the Y, what does the YMCA stand for?
Young Men's Christian Association. It's established in 1851, so it's been here for 100 and something years, and it's started off actually as a way to evangelize and spread the word to sailors in Boston, Massachusetts.
Is that right?
We've gotten away from that.
Boston?
Yeah, exactly. Not so much as that anymore, but now we just preach those principles, so to speak, to all of our participants, and you don't have to be a Baptist or any denomination.
Christians.
Absolutely not. Anybody can join, whether they are or not. We just use those same principles with everything we do.
That's great. So there is still some level of biblical activities there, and
that's
of course that's good. That's good to know.
Well, for in our sports, for instance, if one of the principles we use is that all children will play, whether they're good or not. You go to some of the more competitive leagues, whether it's baseball or t-ball or soccer or any sport, basketball. If you're not necessarily the best on the team, you might sit on the bench quite a bit. But we require every child to play a half, and so everybody gets a chance to participate. So,
that's great. That's how I was able to play. That's right. The only way. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Of course, a lot of viewers can't see, may not be able to see the nice. The pen there on your jacket, but the Y always stands out.
Yes.
And that is what a great branding opportunity it is. Folks, we use that Y wherever they go.
That's right, and it's worldwide. I mean, it's almost every country they've got a YMCA.
Is that right?
It really is.
Well, there's been some sports have actually launched at a YMCA. Is it?
We started basketball, softball. We had a hand in racquetball and some other sports too, but the big one was basketball, and that was in Massachusetts.
That's
Boston,
right.
Massachusetts.
Basketball was formed at a YMCA.
That's right.
That's amazing.
It is, and that's why we want to continue to focus on that. They actually invented it to give the sailors something to do in the downtime, and came together, and it was actually a very brutal game when they started off. But now
well, like rugby, yeah.
Exactly, it was.
That is fascinating. When you think about that, there should be some community tie with the NBA or with the basketball.
They try to, and there are some
symbiotic financial relationship as well.
In Charlotte, the big Sharp, they've got a giant organization in Charlotte, YMCA's, and they've got some real strong support from the Charlotte basketball team and the Panthers football team. And
sure.
So typically, it's community related. If you've got a big team in the area, they typically will align themselves with the YMCA.
Well, of course, y'all are really like virtually any other nonprofit organization, really making a difference. And as you say, the fight against childhood as well as adult obesity, some real issues there. If a viewer couldn't attend the YMCA or attend activities on a regular basis but still want to support, is it best just to call the phone number or visit the website?
Yeah, absolutely. Call the phone number, and they can put you in touch with either me or Matt Dembski, who's our branch director there at the YMCA. He's been here for a year now.
Right.
And we can find out what their skills or desires are and put them to work or offer help that way. So we've got a lot of things to do. And also, one of the big things that the YMCA is good about, and one of our core beliefs is that if you don't have the money financially to participate in our programs, we have a scholarship program for all of our programs. And,
good. Scholarships at the Y.
Right. Which is, that's one of the reasons we operate as a nonprofit. Whether it's sports or membership, if you're going through a rough time or whatnot, we do have a process where you can apply for assistance, and we'll help you pay for it.
That's tremendous, John. 449-9622.
Exactly.
449-YMCA. That's right. You'll never forget that.
Never forget that one. Yeah.
Those will stand out. 449 YMCA. And of course, it's so important to pick up the phone. Are there some real needs that you all have right now? How's the building campaign going along, or what could a viewer do right now to be involved?
The capital campaign, the building campaign, is what we're about to have a new emphasis on. We've raised $5.7 million.
Is that right?
That's right.
$5.7 million.
We'd like to get to $7.5.
Okay, sure.
So we're going to have a renewed push to get some support from the community. And you know, if someone doesn't have a big checkbook, you know, if they'd like to help us
solicit funds even to help out,
or even just administrative help to help us keep track of who we've called.
You have some needs there in the
absolutely
at both locations, or principally the Grand Strand location?
Mostly the Grand Strand.
Okay,
yeah.
Sure. So if a viewer didn't have dollars but had some time to give, you can put them to work.
We'll use them too.
Okay, absolutely. That's great. And of course, does the website have any information about that, or is it best just
a little bit,
call?
But it's not up to date as far as, you know, where we stand on a day-to-day basis. So the phone number is usually the best.
Okay, great. And some of the things that a viewer could possibly do. What are some of the things where they need to be active physically, or just the opportunity to be able to be available?
Pretty
to
much everything. Everything from phone calls. You know, we've got volunteers help us with filing. Giving tours to the YMCA, showing around what the facility looks like at Grand Strand. And if they, you know, are connected to the community and want to help us introduce ourselves to you know, some of their neighbors, we'd be glad to do that too, to make presentations about what we're trying to do. So it could be just the fact that you know your neighbors. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to do anything. You know, if you want to just give us a call and we'll come to a PTO or a civic club and give a presentation about what we do and what we can do.
That is very important. I'm sure a lot of folks don't even think about it as a nonprofit because they think about it as a glorified health club.
That's right.
But truly, there is an opportunity to make a difference.
Definitely.
And for folks that are interested in spreading the word at some level, not that you all are forceful in that regard, but still recognized as the Young Men's Christians Association. There's also YWCAs, aren't there, in some communities?
There are. There's actually one in Charleston.
Is that right?
They've got a similar mission. They focus more on women's issues as opposed to you know, social service, and not necessarily the health and wellness side of it.
So $5.7 million towards and the $7.5 million eventual nut, that would cover building facilities both in Myrtle Beach and in Georgetown.
No, that's just for Grand Strand.
Okay, good.
The Georgetown branch has raised, I believe, $4.5 towards their goal of $6 million.
They've got a $6 million goal. Yep. Okay,
yeah,
sure.
So we're and that will get us the building we want perfectly. You know, if we don't quite meet that goal, we're not really wanting to go into debt. So we'll probably start looking to cut some square footage out of the plan, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to continue to raise that money until we get close to that goal.
So you need another $1.5 million down in Georgetown and almost $2 million.
Almost $2
million. You said 5.7 now towards a $7.5 million goal.
Right.
Well, of course, the layout of the new facility, which is planned, is magnificent.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, it really is nice.
It really is. There's some special aspects there. On a regular basis, y'all are able to maintain salaries and cover things from the existing dollars raised, but I'm sure there's still a need for annualized support.
Yeah, and with our annual support and our programs, you know, we are able to maintain, but we're not able to build anything new or improve, which is where the capital building fund comes in.
Makes a YMCA different from any other health club, John?
Some of the biggest things is the scholarship program, where, you know, if you've got a family who just doesn't have that disposable income to join a health club, or we could help them with that. We focus a lot of our programs on the youth, making sure that the kids are focused on and making sure that they've got an outlet for their energy, whether it's you know, an organized sport or just a health and wellness program. We really focus on that. Our after-school care programs are structured programs. It's not just a daycare.
Free for all.
Right.
Good.
You know, we do homework assistance and
is that right? That's tremendous.
Right. So a lot of that.
And how would a viewer apply for financial assistance?
Same thing, same number.
Okay, 449-9622.
That's right.
And would that be for after-school care as well?
Absolutely.
That is tremendous,
We've got
John.
8 sites in Grand Strand, and I think 8 or 9 in Georgetown, where we actually in the schools and we run that program.
And I know you've just been here a couple of weeks, so knowing the exact times that those are available, you may not be totally familiar with, but those are after-school programs, and there would be some potential financial assistance involved, but all of that is donations help push all that. And
both communities do full-day summer camps also. So,
if you weren't working at the YMCA, John, what do you think you'd be doing?
I was actually going to teach. When I got out of the Air Force, I was looking for a teaching job.
Right.
My wife's a teacher, special ed teacher.
Special ed teacher.
And I wanted summers off with her. And while I was waiting for the school to start hiring for summer, I saw an ad for the YMCA and applied for the sports director job and got it.
Right.
But I was planning on teaching. Middle school science was what I was looking to do.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Didn't quite work out that way, but I've been very happy with the YMCA.
Good for you, your wife, and your girls. Absolutely. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Coastal Carolina YMCA CEO John Rhoden coming up next. Sometimes I have trouble remembering phone numbers. And even getting them in the wrap here, 449-9622. But I don't even have to remember that number. Just 449-YMCA. Think about it, 449-YMCA. Take the time to pick up the phone. You heard John say it. This is a real exciting opportunity to pick it up, either to make a donation, cash, check, stocks, anything, or of your time. He's not even saying we need money, all we need is money. He's saying time. Think about giving a little time. Or if you can't give either. If you can't give money, if you can't give time, but you have needs, what's John saying? He's saying pick up the phone and give us a call, 449-9622. If you've got after-school needs, if you've got needs you want to get into a health program, but you don't have the financial wherewithal to do it, the YMCA is a nonprofit organization. They want you to call, they want to reach out to you, but they also need to reach out to others for donations so that they can give to you. If you have needs, call the YMCA, but if you have the ability to give them a call also. And you heard him say it, time is critical. If you can come in and make some phone calls or introduce John or other folks, Matt, to the community, some of the building campaign folks, they'll find a way to get out. They'll find the time to come see you to talk about the tremendous plans they have for the new location. It's a $7.5 million goal. You got to pick up the phone, 449-YMCA.